How to use LinkedIn to boost your career. So very important thing is that I work with companies, I work with universities, I work with recruiters as well. So I know exactly what a recruiter will do when they have to fill a position. Being exec search or being entry level, I know exactly what they do. And nearly all recruiters use LinkedIn. Not only LinkedIn, please.
Sorry, is that for South Africa specifically or globally?
That's globally.
Yeah.
Job 5 Recruiter National Survey. Yeah, that's global. But I work with recruitment agencies and they rely, not only recruitment agencies, but HR, they rely so much on LinkedIn. Whether it is the paying solution, whether it is just checking people's profile on LinkedIn, nearly all of them look at profiles on LinkedIn. Does not mean that if you don't have one, you won't get the job, don't get me wrong. But like when they're doing their headhunting, let's say they have a few candidates that are coming because they're looking for a job. But then as a recruiter internally, they also have to say, for example, okay, I had these 3 candidates applying, then I've done my search and I found another 10 that I have headhunted and so on. So they would consider you, of course, if you don't have LinkedIn, absolutely. But in terms of if you're a passive candidate, maybe you have another job and a recruiter thinks you're a great opportunity, like a great candidate for them, is a way for them to hunt you and find you as well. So it's both ways. So yeah, most of the recruiters are on LinkedIn, and I would recommend everybody to have not only a LinkedIn profile, but a nice and up-to-date LinkedIn profile. Really branding yourself, using your personal brand, and allowing people to find you. So that's the must-have that you should have on the profile. You know, some profiles are fantastic, and some people are very social, posting, resharing, and so on. But essentially, if we think of a recruiter bumping into a profile, what I want to see is clearly your education, picture, your experience, if you've done any volunteering, or even projects extra from the university or from your current employer. That just shows that you have, you're taking ownership, you're performing even outside your core job. That's what they would like to see. So essentially, I will go more in detail into that. But hiring managers and recruiters, when they see a profile that is complete and you can follow those 5 must-have, they will pay more attention to your profile. Education, very important, so everybody should associate themselves with the business school. Has everybody done so on LinkedIn yet? Yeah? Because there's different things that I will cover later on, but essentially, like if I think of myself, I did that a lot. Sometimes, you're in a current job and you're like, okay, I'm aspiring to go in this company. What you can do is simply to run a search and reach out to the alumni of your previous university, or to leverage all this information into the social network. Your picture doesn't have to be like fantastic, but it's just a picture where you smile and you convey trust, and people must want to speak to you when they see your picture. So generally smiley and headshots, that's fine. Experience, listing your experience. Why is it important? Sometimes, we're like, okay, I'm doing that job, who cares what I did in the past, and so on. You will see in a second, recruiters or headhunters or the HR team of many companies have filters that allow them, for example, to search for, okay, I'm going to search for a senior manager with 5 years experience. And it's something silly, but imagine you've been manager of Woolworths for 4 years, but they're looking for 5 years experience. And for example, you forgot to list an extra job you had as a manager. Immediately, you don't show up in their search. So think about listing every job you had, of course relevant to what you want to achieve, but think about posting them, even if it's the past. If you have any question, please
I have one.
Yes, please.
So, if you're trying to change industry, and I have like very important information about my previous industry, but it's hard to explain to others.
To get out
So,
of the, yeah.
Yeah, for example, I was working in Oman for a while, and in oil and gas, and I'm a specialist in a tool. It's very high profile tool, fiber optics and things like that. But nobody cares about that. But I was the first specialist in that country on this tool. So how to convey the message? How to display this kind of information on my profile?
So you're looking at changing completely industry.
Yeah.
But so what's the message you want to convey? Is that you've been extremely successful in this industry and now you want to move to another industry.
Yeah.
So your previous skill will not help you in the new industry, but it's just showing that you
can show that I can learn something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know that is very hard because I did the same. I was in law before being in IT tech sales. So it's very hard, and the first step is the hardest. So to be honest, from a recruitment perspective, if I'm looking for a candidate and you have a super technical skill that is amazing but doesn't match my job description, what a recruiter will do is like, yeah, it's not a fit. So what you should do is to really package that message showing that you're like super smart, like you learn that shit and you were so successful into that sector. So to put yourself like, maybe putting a description of your job, your previous job as like something really, really rare, and that put yourself in a very specific, nearly podium, you've done so great. And then in the summary, explain the industry you want to get into and why, and find a compelling reason explaining why. And then sometimes, since, if you put yourself, everybody has its KPIs, so you have your job to do, the recruiter has its job to do, and he has to fill a role. So when he sees your profile, he's going to be like, yeah, he might be great, but it's not exactly what the hiring manager wants. So it's you also who should do the first step in those cases. So for example, when you see a job that is great, I'm going to show it to you in a minute, more practical, not only you have branded yourself, you explain in the summary why you're looking to change, but also when you see a job, you connect with the recruiter and you send them a message. And like you explain, I've been doing this, I want to move into that industry, and I think that this and that skill will help me getting there. Would you, I'd love to have a chat with you, when can we have a chat? So I did that at the beginning when I was switching from law to tech, because they were like, yeah, great, there's no fit, So you have to be a bit more pushing on your side as well when you want to change industry.
So then I have to pay for you to talk to the recruiter.
Sometimes, I don't know, but even just connecting, and recruiters accept everybody. So if you connect and then you can write them, they accept everybody. It's like, please.
Sorry, can I just?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm too pushy, but because I'm in the same boat. And I mean, 95% of people, when you ask to connect, you've got that short note that you can leave.
Yeah.
And just get something that connects for the guy to have a reason to accept your invitation. And 90% of the time, those guys come back, they accept, and they're willing to correspond with you. So I must say, don't be scared to reach out and just try. I mean,
just have like a very short cover letter about myself, so I can send.
The worst thing to do is not accept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
You're absolutely right. And like LinkedIn is a lot of this kind of trust network, because you're not Mr. X. They can see your name, your network, your universities, maybe they have something in common with you. So already when you see a LinkedIn request, it's always more personal than an email or something like this, So you're definitely right. Write a little message that makes a connection between you two, either the industry, the experience, the university, anything. Volunteer experience, why not? Listed on there. Skills. You know, there's a little part at the end of LinkedIn which tells you the skills you can add to your profile. Also, they're searchable. So if I'm a recruiter, sometimes I can go and be like, okay, I want to find a person with this specific skills, this skill, this skill. So add some skills in your profile, they're self-declaratory, add them on, and then people can also endorse you for those skills. For example, your network or your previous manager can say, yeah, he's great into management or something like this.